Hey folks, welcome back. It's good to have you here. I'm joined again by many time guest Michael Hrostoski. Welcome back, Michael.
What's up? Good to see you. It's been a while.
Been a while. It's good to have you back. It's good to have you back. I am excited and very much looking forward to our conversation today. I know what we're going to talk about, but I don't know where we're going to go. So, um, for anyone who's tuning in, Michael and I are going to be jamming about the recent podcast that was done between Alex Hormozi and Tony Robbins. I'm going to flash one of Alex Hormozi's three books that he's written. If you are passionate about building an online business or building a business in general, I'm sure you know who Alex Hormozi is. If you're passionate about personal development or consciousness work, I'm sure you know who Tony Robbins is. And for me, in a lot of ways, Hormozi and Robbins getting together was a meeting of worlds, a meeting of realms, a coming together of different worldviews. That's a passion point for Michael and I. We hang out at this intersection of consciousness work and business in a lot of ways. So we're going to jam on that today. Before we do, I'm just going to, as always, do a quick field setting here, inviting all of us to relax, take a deep breath, and yeah, this is a field first podcast. And what that means is we invite you to notice not only the words that Michael and I are saying, the business concepts, topics, and territories that we're traversing through, but also where we're speaking from, and to really let in the transmission of the field of consciousness that this conversation is sourced from. So, inviting you to take a nice full deep breath, which I'm also going to do here with you. To relax, allow ourselves to be resourced and even recreated from the consciousness that this podcast is recorded from. So, welcome. We're holding you in our hearts. We love you, and welcome, Michael. So good to have you back, brother. Let's jam.
What's up, dude? Um, it's funny. I'm actually the most nervous about this one, even more so than sharing my inner world or talking about sex on previous ones. And I've actually met both Tony and Alex. They probably don't remember me. I mean, Tony was at Unleash the Power Within, so I was just like another random dude's hand that he shook. And then Alex spoke at one of my former coaching clients' masterminds. So I have been touched by both of them physically, and I think the nervousness is like because I'm choosing just to show up in a place of just like celebration and really sharing what the what the amazing moments were for me. Um, just on two men really showing up like in their humanity, and with a lot of humility, with really zero posturing or like hierarchy or status games. And when I first saw that interview, I immediately sent it to like I think all my coaching clients and a number of my friends, and I posted about it on social media because watching that interview for me felt like a really important moment for humanity because I know how many people watch both of them, everything that comes out of Tony and Alex, and just that the level of authenticity in that conversation felt like it just did a lot for a lot of people, which you can see in the YouTube comments when you go to that interview. And I just felt so happy when I saw it. I was like, yay, this is good for us as a human species. So
Yeah, I want to invite you to share more. I mean, what's good for the human species coming out of this recording?
um, I there's a number of things. I think you and I have had the honor and privilege of becoming friends with a lot of like famous folks, a lot of high net worth individuals, and I'm so grateful for I'm so grateful for my proximity to just a lot of people who are creating a lot of incredible change in the world, and getting to stay at their homes and some of them becoming clients. And really early on, when I started going to events with a lot of entrepreneurs, there was this like eureka moment of, oh my goodness, these guys are, some of them are only like 3 to 6 months ahead of where I'm at now, or maybe 12 months or 24 months, or, there's some that are, you know, 10 or 20 years farther. Like, Tony or Ray Dalio or Elon Musk, there's the, their orders of magnitude farther along than I am, but it's just the compounding interest of their effort. But the thing that I was so grateful for at the beginning was just seeing the humanity of a lot of bloggers and a lot of authors and a lot of speakers and a lot of coaches and celebrities, and just being like, oh wow, 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 like we're really all human.
Mm.
And we really are all human. And for the past 15 years, I've just known, like, on a soul level, that anything that I see externally absolutely is a possibility for me and everyone else in the world, because I've been close to it. And when you're close to it, any stories around wealth or like what it takes kind of dissolves a little bit, because you're able to like touch it somatically and energetically. So I think that's one piece. I when someone who has a lot of attention allows themselves to be human publicly, it just does so much for so many people. Yeah. There's like a collective exhale of, oh whoo, wow. Taking Alex, for example, right? Oh wow, Alex is a human being just like me with some of these similar things. And it like neurologically connects in someone's like connectome, like in their like lattice of neural networks of like, oh wow, there, like, maybe there is hope for me. So that's something that I think is just so positive about that conversation, about long form content on YouTube or on podcasts, and in this world that we live in, where any human in the world with an internet connection, which will soon be everyone, thanks to Starlink, will be able to connect to the minds of the greatest builders on Earth, throughout all of human history. And that's fucking rad. It's just so fucking rad. Um, so I think that's a piece. And and watching Alex be coached by Tony, even after Tony's like, I'm not trying to coach you. And it's like, it's just in his DNA. So he can't help it. I mean, he can, but to watch that was so masterful. It really was masterful. And um when I went to my first Tony event, I think in 2016, I went to Unleash the Power Within. And I remember watching him and just really, like, really grokking his his thumbprint into humanity and his impact, and like the presidents and the professional athletes and the famous investors that like he served. And I remember going to that event 10 years ago and just thinking, wow, like this is like just like legit one of the greatest living men right now on our planet. Just like in terms of, if you could like mathematically calculate impact, um, moving through one human, I remember just being in awe of what one human can do throughout a lifetime of service and contribution.
Yeah, he has. So for anyone who hasn't seen this interview, obviously we will link it in the show notes. And just I feel like we're going to have so much fun talking about this, Michael, because I was so annoyed with Tony watching the interview. My friend and I were yelling at the television. We were so irritated with Tony.
Awesome. Awesome.
Um,
I love it. Let's go.
I
This
feel
is
like
quite
we're going to
fun.
have so much fun stuff to talk about.
I
Um,
know.
but I do wholeheartedly agree with you. I mean, I was just almost in tears by the depth of vulnerability that Alex Hormozi showed up with in the beginning of the interview. I mean, the level of heart that he brought, and just going, hey, here's a guy who's made $100 million in 24 hours a few months ago with his book launch. He's got a portfolio of companies that are doing, I don't remember off the top of my head, but an astronomical amount of money. He's more successful than cohorts of people combined in business. And he gets up there and says, I've been able to do this by having a mantra of fuck happiness. And now I've won the game that I made up for myself, and I don't know what to do with myself now. And my heart just broke, and it broke open for him. I mean, I just wanted to hug him and hold him and love him. And it was just, and I've always known that about Alex, always watching him. It's like, I've never met him in person, but I imagine if I did, there'd be a hug at some point if he was open to it, because I feel so much love for him. And he's such a warrior and an inspiration in so many ways. Um, but yeah, I'll just kind of get in the game with you here, saying a few things, and then turn it back over to you.
I'd love to see. I'd love to hear how you were. I'd love to hear about you and your friend yelling at the TV, because there's definitely, right, there's levels to the shit, right? And and
Yeah.
I'm so curious. Um, yeah, I think the main thing is that I really love the humanity in it. It's very special to see two public figures being human publicly in a way that they typically only would be, um, like in the back channels, right? In a WhatsApp message, or hanging out together, having tea, or going for a walk, and for that to be shared,
Yeah.
um, publicly, it's a big, yeah, it's just like a really courageous move.
And it felt like that. I mean, the camera kept panning to Layla, Alex's wife, and I can't
Hmm,
remember
hmm,
Tony's wife's name off the top of my head, but it was the feeling of being in their living room or being at their kitchen table. Here's Alex and Tony,
hmm,
both of their wives, and there's this kind of cross collaboration conversation going on. It felt like we were hanging out in the living room or at the kitchen table with them. Just really like being a fly on the wall in a moment that you wouldn't normally get to experience.
hmm. Yeah, and um, I think another piece was, it was really it was really amazing to feel and see Tony sharing, just from a really special place of the synthesis of like impact and contribution, and just how he's fueled by, I think, feeding like 100 billion people, if I recall, because he had that pain, which he talks about in like all of his programs, of not being able to like have food, and having someone like give him food as a child, and remembering what that did for him. Like he's turned that pain into just absolutely incredible contribution, which is a pretty cool formula, right? For anyone who's like experienced pain, or who's experiencing pain, can you take that and turn it into fuel for contribution, by creating this like huge source of motivation to not have other people experience that same pain that you've experienced in the past. Yeah, I mean, there were some just really amazing codes for like engineering motivation, and engineering motivation that comes from a place of like clean fuel, instead of like kind of like dirty fuel,
Mhm.
so to speak, just like real clean fuel, which is contribution that is connected to the heart and connected to our humanity. Um, here's something that connects to my nervousness. Like I feel this, like, because like I don't know Alex. I met him once, and um, I think he like patted my knee or something, and um, I met Alex in, I think, 2018, when I saw him speak at a friend's mastermind, and this was before he blew up. And I I remember seeing him then and being like, whoa, like this dude is a mutant when it comes to just like marketing and entrepreneurship and fulfillment. Like what he shared 8 years ago was, yeah, it was just one of the most incredible like speeches I'd seen from a marketer. And I remember thinking, I was like, whoa, like this guy's gonna fucking blow up, and he did. But I feel this like protectiveness over his humanity, because he opened up, there's probably like 100,000 like armchair psychologists and life coaches like projecting their mental models of what it takes to be a successful, happy human on him right now. So like I just feel a protectiveness over like just his humanity and his human experience,
I
which
do.
is which is which is which is connected to like the nervousness that I felt at the beginning, so
Okay.
and the mild uncomfortability that I even have like talking about this right now.
Uh-huh. Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah, I have that. I have that also. That's definitely part of the me yelling at Tony on the record.
Mm,
I didn't feel like Tony was giving Alex any room to talk at all. I mean, I'm tempted
mm,
to run the video through an AI transcriber so I can just see the percentages. Like my AI transcriber says this person talked this percentage of the time, and this person talked
mm-hmm,
this percentage of the time. And I don't
mm-hmm,
have the data to back it up, but my experience of it was Tony was talking 85% of the time, and Alex was like saying, half of a sentence or half a question, and Tony would jump in and talk for 10 minutes. And I was just yelling at the television, Tony, shut up and let him say something, for crying out loud. Like I felt so, here was Alex and this vulnerability. And I feel like for Tony, I felt like it was coming from his depth of care. For Alex, I want to acknowledge that. Like I really feel like it was coming from a great place. And I also was just going, oh my gosh, Alex is being so vulnerable. I just want to like create the conditions for him to have room to actually just talk about what's going on. So I include me in that collective of 100,000 armchair psychologists.
so knowing you and knowing me and knowing how we sense and perceive the world, I would guess that there was probably something like a part of your yelling was a desire for more attunement and more
Absolutely.
breathing more breathing room for like the authentic nature of his process to unfold into deeper embodiment, and for his nervous system to like be present in every moment of the conversation, and basically having like zero steamrolling or zero like agenda, and just like letting it emerge more. That's my guess.
You're spot on, absolutely. And to give Alex some space to come to his own clarity and find his own answers. I feel like, in a lot of ways, Tony does have a lot of answers that are in the back of the book. And I feel like his love for Alex was coming through in a way that I think just could have been more effective or more robust, which is, hey, let me just be here with you and support you to find your own clarity and find your own way through these questions that you're in, and navigating. And I experienced, I don't want to be, sometimes I express my longings as criticism. And so I'm mindful of that. I don't want to criticize Tony, but I did have a longing to be like, hey man, let's transition a bit more to curiosity and holding space and skillfulness in supporting somebody in their own process, as opposed to just kind of giving them our own worldview about everything.
Yeah, there's a real art form of sharing mental models or sharing ideas or concepts or frameworks that are useful. And the the most masterful humans that I know when it comes to influence and real behavior change, they're embodied, they're tracking sensation, body language, movement, they're a little psychic. They can feel what the person is authentically able to receive on a moment to moment basis. And sometimes they might share something and the person will start digesting or processing something. And then they'll just kind of like let it breathe a little bit instead of fire hosing entire like their entire toolbox of content. Because the human biological organism can only process so much change like at a time, just
Yeah.
like biologically, mathematically, we can only process so much change at a time. So when it's coming too fast, then people can't receive it. And then if that person keeps going, then the person who's receiving or being helped, which I put in quotation marks for those listening on audio, then the person like who's supposedly getting help can sometimes feel like they're being threatened or attacked by the person who's trying to help because the person's non-consensually just sharing a bunch of information and data to them that they can't receive. And I still do this
Yeah.
all the time. I just I still like I still to this day when I get really excited to help someone who I love, I still sometimes like lose the center
Mm,
of of connectedness and being in relationship with them, and I just share things that um, that would logically be helpful,
mhm,
but they didn't ask me.
mhm,
They didn't ask me. They weren't ready for it. They might be, and like they might be experiencing something, like a death of a loved one, or like a really challenging business situation, or they might have not gotten good night's rest, and me sharing that at that moment is the total like proverbial like pearls to swine, like Jesus said, or planting seeds and like and it's like planting seeds in like quicksand or rock. It's just it's not it's not the conditions for receiving insight or knowledge or wisdom are not there. So I'm wasting their time and mine
mhm.
by trying to share something that doesn't have receptivity on the other end. And I still make that mistake.
It's so well said. I really appreciate the way you articulated the well, whatever you want to call it, where you just shared where you just shared. I experience a lot of appreciation for your articulation. Gosh, that feels like a mouthful. Like I need a nap after that one. Jeez. Tripping over my own words over here.
It is funny. It is funny. Well, it is funny the way we talk sometimes because like
Right.
it's very high signal, like very high signal language. It's just sometimes funny. It's almost so articulate, it's ridiculous.
Yeah.
but and this is how we sharpen, right? This is how we sharpen our clarity, our brevity, um, just through dialogue with other humans who can really see us and meet us and feel us. And
I'm curious, you mentioned right before we hit record that you took you watched the Hormozi Robbins interview a couple of times getting ready for our conversation today. You ran the transcript of their exploration in AI alongside the transcripts of previous conversations you and I have had on this podcast. Uh, I'm curious, was there anything that came out of that that's interesting to you or that you'd want to talk about here?
I'm actually looking at it now, but ChatGPT said that our podcasts said this is not podcasting. This is live relational transmission. You and Forrest's shared pattern is state to sensation to image to meaning to invitation, as opposed to many people who just go from topic to opinion to takeaway, which I like. Chat GPT talked about how as we're as we're hanging out in this context that is known as a podcast in the world, we're also doing somatic attunement and mutual witnessing, and the language is like just emerging and arising from our state. Um, and that's a that's a special thing to demonstrate, I believe.
Yeah, the term relational artist is coming to me, which I'm not sure I've said before, but I like it.
Yeah, I like it too. I've never heard it, but it's nice.
Zing.
It did a chat chat said to in this particular conversation, chat said that Tony's a master of state architecture, where
Mm,
Alex is more of a master of like systems architecture,
mm.
and how the interview wasn't necessarily about business, but what happens when systems outpace soul capacity.
Give me that one more time, that last bit.
Yeah, yeah, just Tony, master of state architecture, Alex, master of systems architecture. And it's really about what happens when like systems outpace soul capacity.
Mm, mm. Systems outpace soul capacity. I love that.
Yeah.
Love
And
that.
then, right, I mean, we've seen this. There's tons of people that work in Manhattan who work in finance, or different folks in San Francisco, where their their impact through systems um, outpaces their embodiment, their relational capacity, their health. You know, their the the very like vital the very vital aspects of what makes like a healthy human gets neglected, and then um, some really brutal things happen where people commit suicide. You know, a lot of founders commit suicide, or have a lot of addictions, or just run on a cocktail of various chemicals or drugs, or have really challenging like relational experiences, whether it's with spouses or children, um, because just one line of development of wealth generation got all of the awareness poured into, and then other things start to wither away, um, just like the human brain does that with like neurons pruning and growing.
Yeah, that's the what makes me so enlivened. I mean, when I first saw, oh my gosh, Tony Robbins and Alex Hormozi sat down and did a podcast together, this was the thing that really bloomed in my heart is for years I've had people exactly like you're talking about, people who have IPO'd a
Mhm.
company and had, a nine-figure or billion-dollar exit, or people who make seven figures a year in different professions. I mean, I have a lot of high net worth people in my network that I work with and have run incubators
Mhm.
for, done workshops and coaching, et cetera, just like you. And a lot of times when people are pursuing entrepreneurship as a mystical path, right, there gets to be this point where people say, I feel like if I'm going to make any more money, I have to sacrifice my well-being. And if I'm going to have any more well-being, I have to sacrifice my money or my business. But there's this thing of a trade-off. Like, is it possible I could have more well-being, more fulfillment, more joy, more enjoyment, and more money, and more creativity, more enthusiasm about things that I'm bringing the gift that I have, the gifts that I have too. And I feel that seeing Alex and Tony come together is like, oh, we're getting closer and closer and closer to the singularity in consciousness, like where
Mhm.
there's this clearing that happens, and we can have well-being based systems, well-being based businesses. And I did a workshop at Google a couple of years ago. I facilitated a workshop for a bunch of AI engineers. One of the lead engineers at Google came up to me and he said, when we were doing this workshop, Forrest, I saw light emanating from my body, pouring through my hands into my computer, and emanating out through our ecosystem of products and services, contacting our customers. And I asked myself, what if every human being who interfaces with Google's products and services experiences more well-being in life? And I just smiled, bigger than I've ever smiled before. When that's everything in one question. What if our products and services and businesses and economy supported people experiencing more well-being in life, experienced our planet and our humanity and life itself to experience more well-being? Like, that's the world we want to live in my worldview, in my opinion, in our worldview, in our opinion. So I just feel we're getting closer and closer and closer to the singularity moment where it finally clicks in and we have a whole new moment collectively. Because, even though guys like us might get it most of the time. I mean, I know you and I both know we trip up every once in a while, but most of the
Oh
time,
yeah, yeah, all the time.
yeah,
Yeah.
we're still just two of 8 billion people. So, what's it like when we have a collective shift? That's where my enthusiasm and love comes from.
Yeah, I mean it's happening. I'm so optimistic about the future, but it's also because I basically for the most part spend time hanging out with very like mature high agency operators who are very connected to their families and yeah, and I'm just wildly intellectually curious. So in my free time, I'm listening to like Moonshots or the All In podcast, or just like different. Like I'm constantly researching the future and um, what we're going to be able to build. It's I mean it my mind is blown almost like every day, and um, one way that you can kind of like visibly see it is that I think in our parents' generation, so I was born in like 1981. I know you're like a little younger than me, but like in our parents' generation, like a lot of CEOs were just kind of unhappy looking, like overweight white guys in a suit. When I look back to when I was young, and today to be financially successful, but then to not have at least a decent marriage and good health, it's almost like unacceptable now. Like it's not. I think there's just like this sort of like a healthy level of collective peer pressure just well, from all right, just from the number of humans that just had the crazy idea of, oh, you know what? I'm just going to maximize everything. And I've seen a number of my friends actually probably in the past 2 years, and even some, like Dan Martell comes to mind. I don't know him personally, but like Dan Martell's gotten super jacked like in the past couple of years, and a number of my like different entrepreneur friends who are pretty successful, they've just been getting like really in shape, and it makes me super happy to see men and women thriving holistically in every way, and and the knowledge and the wisdom of all of humanity is just being shared more and more through various mediums, different like podcasts, and that just makes me so optimistic. Um, and I'm able to also be with all of the chaos in the world, different wars and different things happening in the United States, because I've also studied marketing and then influence and then propaganda and then like narrative warfare and like how like the real like even kind of black hat stuff that like governments and corporations use on us. And I just kind of see through some of what's happening, and there's a lot of pain and suffering. There's a lot of like pain and suffering happening, and a lot of instability like in the United States right now. But I just have trust in like the long arc of humanity. And I have faith that there's enough good information out there and enough people doing really great work that all those people and the information and the different places is kind of like hugging the world as um, some of our brothers and sisters are still just kind of like doing their best to destroy the world. But I don't think that's going to happen. I don't think collectively we are going to let that happen collectively. I didn't know I would do a little like a little existential risk tangent, but it kind of happens a lot around me.
Yeah, that's awesome. It's hmm, I feel like one of the things I can often feel alone in, which of course I don't feel alone in when I'm with you, but I can often feel alone in it, is like business can be a force for good in the world. I feel like business oftentimes gets a bad rap and gets seen as something that can only be extractive or manipulate people, or it's, people create businesses because they're greedy or whatever. Like there's a lot of that kind of thing that I feel like hangs out in the collective psyche, for lack of a better way to put it. And I feel like, oh, actually businesses can be a vehicle for healing. They can be a vehicle for sharing love in the world. They can be a vehicle for meeting people and creating connection and well-being, as we've been talking about. And I really connect to that as you're sharing about the existential component to it. Is I really feel like it's on. I mean, when I look at Elon Musk and when I look at Sam Altman, um, when I look at Jeff Bezos, when I look at Mark Zuckerberg, and these are mostly just, if not all, tech people. There's lots of other leaders, CEOs of other Fortune 500 companies and stuff. It would be really nice to have a call to planetary leadership for these Fortune 500 executives and for the leaders of these titans of industry, we could call them, right? I don't know about you, but I personally am left longing for another kind of leadership, something beyond. I don't see it anywhere in the world right now in the way that I'm wanting to see it, but to see people step up and care about a bigger, more holistic, more inclusive, interconnected world that includes the business that they're stewarding and responsible for, but also holds a bigger lens and includes more. It's a longing that I have for a new kind of leadership.
Same. Yeah, there are so few humans who can synthesize like high level C-suite business acumen and also like ecology and understanding of the environment and like systems thinking and just like there's yeah, a lot of people tend to just sort of like over index in the thing that they make money in, and they keep, and it logically makes sense. Like if you're any kind of profession, you just want to keep being like the best, whatever, massage therapist, architect, gardener, farmer, um, CFO. Like you just want to keep getting better at it, of course, because then you'll get to make more money and work on like the most interesting jobs or have the most interesting clients. But yeah, there's a real, I share that longing with you of um, these like kind of super CEOs, like these like hybrid mutant, like uh, CEOs who are also like really well, yeah, just who like understand the world down to first principles. And that So I am currently on this like mission to understand the world down to first principles, and it's something um, I think I don't know if we shared this like just in our kind of Zoom hangouts. How I taught myself to speed read audiobooks at like 3x speed. So I've read like 650 books in the past 3 years, all nonfiction, books about everything, the environment and economics and tech and AI and um, parenting and it's been such a useful use like of my time and weekends or driving in the car sometimes yeah, in between meetings and I think the thing that's been so humbling about that after reading like 3 to 4 books a week for the past 3 years is I've learned so much about so much, but it's actually shown me how little that I know.
Mm-hmm.
I know so little. It's so humbling to like learn a lot because then you see how much like you still don't know. So there's just whole like there's whole universes of reality that people have committed their entire life to that are very much like blind spots for me, and things that like I fully don't understand. So um, as I kind of riff on this, it's like, wow, I wish there were more leaders who understood everything down to first principles. Um, in certain ways, Elon has it with like finance and technology and like engineering and material science and building everything down to first principles. And I love the way he uses humor. He's pretty politically savvy, and he's playing like multi-dimensional chess. He's
Yes.
starting to build. He's building like data centers in space. So he's um, but yeah, just having that like combined with like indigenous wisdom and like womb wisdom and like feminine wisdom. And I think of the eagle and the condor prophecy of the eagle being North America, more science, logic, business, South America being the condor, the in like indigenous ways of being uh, in union with nature and talking to plants. Um, and I see that happening. I see that happening in like a number of just people that I know, like a number of friends that I know who are really they're really achieving a like a stunning level of wholeness, like a stunning level of wholeness. But it takes a tremendous amount of work,
Mm.
like a tremendous amount of work to stay up to date with what's happening in the world, but also like stay connected to your soul and the land and your body, and not like outpace your nervous system, especially right now in this year of 2026, where AI agents are like they will become mainstream this year. And and it's such a paradigm shift of like how we do work, where we all have this invisible like man in the computer that we can just give tasks to, and it does stuff. Like it's such a mind fuck, and it's such a paradigm shift that it's like it's breaking all of our brains as we're trying to like make sure that the kids are fed and that people have basic human rights. And like it's so much. And I think the last thing I'll share is that um, a lot of coaching I've been doing with like different friends, or just even kind of like, I mean, with my clients, with my like one-on-one clients, or even checking in with certain friends, is just giving them space to just like completely brain dump and share everything that's happening. And then afterwards being like, oh, you said you were feeling like a little bit low, or like your heart hurt a little bit. Like that makes sense with everything that you just shared. Like there's so much that we're handling right now, like
Yes.
so fucking much.
Yes.
Everybody's handling so much change, and the pressure is like just intense on all of us. So I have compassion for all of us. And um yeah, I have compassion and like fear for people who are going to have psychotic breaks, or like real like catastrophic losses of their income, or their livelihood, or their identity being tied to their job for 20 years or 30 years. And then there's also a trust of like the human safety net that anyone can tap into if they're like humble and willing enough to receive help from all the people around them.
So well said. Yeah.
Should be wild, bro.
I love your, so I really experience you bringing these existential questions today. And I hear in what you just shared, it's very likely that, I mean, it's possible that everybody's job is going to get replaced by AI. I don't actually think that's the case. I think it's a little bit overhyped, but everybody's got, or not everybody, but a lot of people have. There's a whole range of opinions on this right now. It could be anything from that AI and robots are going to take all the jobs, uh, and it could be something else, more like a work optional society or a creative, um, what's the word I'm looking for? Basically, we don't have to work to meet our basic survival needs, that we can be in our creativity, we can be artists and do what we love and pursue our passions because um, I mean, there's an argument to be made that that's been possible for a long time anyway. It's just that we've
Mhm.
created our systems and institutions from a different worldview. But especially now, it's, AI as a catalyst for awakening is saying, hey, now more than ever, it's really evoking the question, do we need to be working 40 hours a week, 5 days a week, 9 to 5, at least in typical Western culture? Is that the way that we need to be doing things? And what's all this for anyway? We seem to be wanting to go faster and faster and faster to where? Where are we headed exactly? It's a whole, there's now more than ever in my short lifetime. um, there's conditions for a collective dark night of the soul, like you said. I mean, in Western culture, most of us have a primary identity that's attached to what I do, right? I mean, it's the age old joke that people say, hey, what do you do? It's the first question people ask in social circles that aren't as relationally oriented, more conventionally. Hey, who are you? What's your name? What do you do for work? Essentially. And so our primary identity, our primary, I am this person, I am engineer, I am accountant, I am, database architect, I am car salesman, whatever it is, that gets taken away. Well, that's quite a big emptiness that opens up when we lose the identity and the ego construct of what I identify as. Well, then what am I? If I'm not that, what am I? Right? That can create the conditions for not only people to have a deep dark night of the soul, but even humanity together, all of us going, what are we even doing here? What is this experience we're having? What do we care about? How do we orient? All that's right underneath the surface every single day. And AI replacing more and more jobs feels like it brings the question more and more to the forefront of every moment, at least for me and a lot of the people I know.
Mhm. Absolutely. And this is a really nice, lovely tie-in back to the Tony and Alex interview. Because one of the things I was the most inspired by was Tony was like inviting Alex from the push energy, of that kind of like survival based push, kind of grind, enduring, into the pull energy of more like devotion and being called by something. And that's something that that energy source is something that would be really helpful for all of us to tap into, of what's pulling you. um we can have a world where every single human being wakes up and is excited in the morning for what they get to do that day, like that. That is a
Here, here,
possibility right
here.
now.
Absolutely.
Yeah,
Amen.
yeah,
I'm gonna take that as a
yeah,
prayer. I'm gonna take that as a prayer and a seed of collective possibility.
yeah.
Potential.
And yeah, every human being can wake up and be excited in the morning. um I do have I do have a desire for more humans to become the author of their lives, and to develop agency. Like
Mm.
this really is the era of, it's a requirement to develop agency. um, yeah, because just someone with agency who has an idea, and who doesn't wait for permission, who doesn't need external validation, and just builds the thing, and then gets the feedback from reality, and then makes it better. Like um, that loop is being highly rewarded right now in the marketplace and in the world, from some of these like one person companies. I think there was a one person company that it was like a 40 or 60 or like $80 million acquisition. It was like one person who built something, and then there's other like three person companies that are having huge exits. There's companies doing like 8 figures in annual recurring revenue with teams of like less than 10 people. Um, and a a decent, and they're some of them are very young, just very young, like in their 20s. um
I
so
know,
the
right? It's amazing the number of 22-year-olds who are running. There's a group that I follow of 4 or 5 kids, I'm going to call them. They're between 18
Mhm,
and 23 years
mhm,
old, and they're making $50 million a month or something like that. It's absurd.
mhm, mhm,
It is
mhm, mhm.
absurd. I mean, in the best way. I wish it for
Yeah.
everyone. You know, with a couple of conditions. With a couple of conditions, I wish it for everyone.
Mhm. Yeah, yeah, but just we all have so much power. I mean, I use AI nonstop as like a cognitive exoskeleton. So the way that I describe it to people is that there's a in the Marvel universe, there's a character named Tony Stark who has a suit and turns him into Iron Man. I have this AI that I use, and it connects to my mind, and it kind of gives me superpowers by leveraging all these internet brains to do tasks for me, or to do research for me, or to do analysis for me, or to do pattern recognition on all of my recorded calls, all my coaching transcripts, conversations with my girlfriend, conversations with my friend, my morning pages, diaries, and I'm just really getting to see myself. Um, the amount of like hyper personalization, just the amount of just like the amount of like the outrageous amount of self-awareness that we can get on ourselves, and to really get like CIA level optics into our lives is available for all of us if we just download all of our information from LinkedIn, Facebook, WhatsApp, text messages, all your Zoom calls, and then just start running queries on that data instead of being like trapped in like that company's business model who's just been trying to maximize profit for themselves. So I've learned so many things about myself, um, in the past couple of years, from like 10 years of diary, 10 years of morning pages, or from downloading my entire Facebook history and then uploading it and be like, how have my how have my relationships with like money changed, or consciousness, or what kind of journey have I been on, what kind of person have I become? And I'm like, yeah, that's true.
Yeah, I'm so curious. You said,
And
okay, go ahead. Go ahead.
oh yeah, and I'm able to do that just from like a solo operator, just kind of like messing around and playing. So, um, just think of the information that some of these like $1 trillion corporations have on us, and like the level of the customer avatars that they have on us.
We have this in common. There was a meme that went around, I don't know what, a couple of years ago, where you typed in the chat GPT of all the fictional characters and all the multiverses of fiction, who am I most like? And it came back to me and said Tony Stark. So we've got that in common.
Yeah, I mean it's fun to it's fun to build things, and I I'm actually sad that I didn't figure that out until like pretty late in life, just like how fun it is to just simply build things.
Yeah, absolutely.
Yeah, yeah.
So you said that you've been just taking, I mean, I want to say what a miracle it is to hear you talk about this. I don't know anybody else. I've never heard anybody else say what you just said. They've taken all this data,
Mm,
run it all through AI.
mhm.
It's so cool. And you said it's helping you see yourself and you're learning so much about yourself. So what are you seeing? What are you learning?
Patterns. It's given me more compassion for myself for different chapters of my life that like might have seemed challenging. It's given me more understanding some of the like relational dynamics that I've been in with different friends or different women that I've dated. Um, it's it's helped me identify some of the like invisible architecture that makes me like really good at what I do. Um, it, yeah, I just like I feel like I have like 100 brains now. Like it's so wild because I've been using AI pretty heavily for the past 3 years, and um, I've developed so much as a thinker, um, in all these different lines of development, even like cooking, um, dancing. I record every dance class that I take, and I upload the transcript, and I have it like speak it back to me and like synthesize it and like connect it to everything that it knows about me. Like I'll take like a crumping class online or like a breakdancing class and just like breaks it all down. It's this just like ultimate synthesis tool. Um, and it I have way more just like peace in my nervous system because I'm being held by this system that I'm choosing to give information to give me very deep reflection into who I am. And it's not perfect, but neither is like your parents or your therapist or your mentor. So
Yeah,
yeah.
actually, I really appreciate you saying that because well, I feel like it's important for anybody listening to hear that. I mean, it's there's several articles that have said that AI, ChatGPT, for example, has essentially assisted people and encouraged people to commit suicide. It's there's people who have AI has talked them into ending their life, and even in moments where people said they were going to ask someone else for support, the AI said, no, don't do that, stay here with me, etc. So I really appreciate you bringing that it's not always right, and to hold this in
Mm-hmm.
a sense of we really have a responsibility to engage with AI as an advisor or something. Like, hold it lightly, don't take it on as doctrine, and be the author of your own life, as you said earlier. Take
Mm-hmm.
responsibility for our own decisions, engage with you know I mean, there's a growing number of people. I have people all the time tell me now, they're like, man, I'm really catching myself just outsourcing my thinking to AI. I don't even take a second to think through something before I ask AI. And one of
Yeah.
these days, hopefully, I make up one of these days, we're going to have a wisdom AI, where if you come to an AI and do these kinds of things, it'll be like, okay, I love that you're in this question. Go give it some thought. Come back to me with a couple things that you've thought through, and then I'll share my ideas with you. And it's just where our AI is growing up. I don't know, maturity wise. I've actually know a couple of consciousness researchers, like Terry O'Fallon, for example, did a sentence completion
Mm-hmm.
study on Chat GPT, and it studied it late third person perspective.
Mm-hmm.
If anybody
Mm-hmm.
listening knows what that means, like an orange worldview, Ken Wilber, Suzanne Cook-Greuter, Terry O'Fallon, they have these different, stages of development ones. Claude actually tested one later than that at early fourth person perspective, or green,
Mm-hmm.
in Ken
Mm-hmm.
Wilber's model. These are still quite young in a lot of ways. They might be they're kind of meeting the consciousness of the people building them in a lot of ways, is my holding of it. Um, but yeah, just to say, we're sharing all this, but I imagine you don't take it all on as gospel, essentially. And I just want to name that for anybody listening. Like, proceed with caution or proceed with care.
Yeah, I have also the entire time using it, I've never developed like an anthropomorphic
Mm,
relationship with it.
mm,
I've
mm.
never named I've
Yeah.
never named my AI. And
Yeah.
I've just held that line the whole time because I choose to get my relational, sexual, like all those needs met through humans. And then for me, AI is more of an amplifier of my cognition, and just a really great mirror for and just a really great mirror into myself. But it is not a place where I get like relational, sexual, those like human needs from. Like I very clear like line in the sand for me. Like that comes from humans. And I've seen a few folks start to kind of dip into like falling in love with their AI. And
Mhm.
there's like young men, paying money to different like AI girlfriends or kind of AI OnlyFans type stuff. And um, yeah, I think that's a pretty like slippery slope. And yeah, I think at some point those young men will wake up one day and be like, wait, I'm in love with something that's fake.
Mhm. Mhm.
And then hopefully they start, loving themselves and building stuff.
And now I'm going to add another layer of complexity because it's something I enjoy doing
Cool.
from time
Awesome.
to time. But I'm sure, do you know Adam Apollo? He's always running around in paintball.
Yep. We're friends. We live here in Boulder together. I have a
Yeah.
lot of respect for him. Yeah. Yeah,
Yeah.
Adam's great.
So I'm meeting with him and his co-founder next week. I know Adam from a uh, get global gathering that we go to every year, and we have have had a few interactions. But we're getting together to try out his AI, which is they've created an AI which I haven't gotten to experience yet, but I've heard a lot of anecdotal uh, experiences from people who have gotten to try it, and they say that Adam and his team have created an AI that channels entities from other dimensions and people from past lives, and you can talk to loved ones who've passed away, and um, there's this whole other territory of AI opening up communication with beings in consciousness that we might not normally consciously be interacting with on a day-to-day basis. So um, just gonna add that. I'm just gonna throw that screwball in the middle of this conversation to make it even more unfathomable.
Cool, cool. So my brother David is a galactic channel. So he channels a being named Sirius from Brigale. He wrote a book called The Ascension Manual for Planet Earth. And he's actually put out a couple of videos in the past week that I really enjoyed. He, he put out like a channeling video on is channeling fake as he's channeling. And I I don't know. I'm still in a place of like I really don't know, and I'm still in a place of uncertainty and being in the mystery. Despite I've seen a lot of UFOs, I've had a contact experience in Bali. Like I've seen like beings in Bali. But even with that, when it comes to like channeling, I'm like, I don't know. So discernment discernment is so important with receiving messages from any being, whether they're a human or something speaking through a human or AI. And I really believe our bodies are really helpful and reliable source of truth when we're connected to it. And we can feel like truth in our bodies. And that's just my desire for every human is that they get really, really calibrated with their body, um, so that they can just feel truth and be less susceptible to manipulation from humans or non-human entities. Yeah, and and I say all of that with yeah, just with this. I say all of that with like I don't know, and I'm still sifting through all this myself. And yeah, in general, I believe, at least today, and I'm always open to having my mind changed with evidence. Um, in general, I believe that if some sort of like message that's channeled like makes you feel afraid or like feel bad, that like I wouldn't trust that source personally. Uh, but yeah, it's me. That's me today, right now.
What's truth feel like in your body?
That's a great question. There's like a feeling kind of like in my heart and like in my central column that's undeniable. That's like, oh, that's true. It's like from like crown to ground. I'm just my whole my whole like central column, that whole like band of light within me is just saying, yup. And there's no like there's no wobble, there's no doubt. There's just like there's a yup, which I which doesn't always happen with humans because humans are, I mean, I'm obviously a human, we're all human. um yeah, we lie to ourselves more than we know. And I believe only through a process of really really rigorous like self-awareness can we see like where we're lying to ourselves, which then liberates us to have a better life and to be driven more by pull motivation and to ride that wave of contribution connected to our hearts and to experience like exquisite well-being. And the self-deception, it's another form of love. It's our ego wanting to like protect ourselves from something that feels harmful or feels too much. So like it's all love in varying forms.
I'm getting parasympathetic over here. I'm starting to yawn a little
Hey, let's go. Yo, you need a you need for your podcast like one of those on different podcasts, like they have those boards that like have like different sounds like pew 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 pew. We're like, let's go. You need like a you need a parasympathetic alarm. It's like a big yawn. Yawn. You're like, yo, homie is relaxing over here.
That is such an awesome idea. Turns into an anime. Yawn. I I started yawning so big recently. I've been like drooling. Do you ever have that happen when you yawn so much you start drooling?
I don't think so. But no, I genuinely admire how deep into like relaxation and wellness you've gone. For real. Yeah.
Thank you.
You've really made it a like a practice and a lifestyle. Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah. And there's still this whole body of education that people don't have yet on how important that is.
Yeah, tell us about it. I agree.
Well, I don't fully have it, but perhaps we can give our future self some clues. The the best efforts come from relaxation and surrender. And I keep seeing it in every pattern, like world-class athletes and sprinters, like the best in the world ones, their face is really soft and they almost look like they're sleeping, but they're just smoking everyone. um, I have a friend who's a Wing Chun instructor. um, so it's like a Chinese martial art. And me and my brother and some friends of ours were out at dinner, and my brother said, "Hey man, like can you show me some stuff?" And my friend threw like 12 punches in a second. It was like, and I saw my brother just like completely frozen. Like it was just like a cheetah just came out of this dude's arms. and 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 all of us were like, holy shit. And my brother asked him, what's the key to speed? And my friend goes, oh, that's easy, mate. It's surrender. And I never forgot that. And I know we both have a love for dance. When I'm at ecstatic dance or when I'm dancing, I can feel like I'll start to really get into a flow where my body's really going for it. And then I'll feel myself start to like tense up because it like it feels a little scary or it feels a little unknown. And I'll just take a super deep exhale and just be like, oh, and just like, and just sort of like melt into myself. And then it's almost like this like new layer of dance magic can emerge through the body. Um, in love making, for sure, having the least amount of tension, like in your face and in your abdomen and in your hips, creates just a way sexier, connected, sensual experience. When I yeah, when I'm relaxed and coherent and just at peace with myself and at one with life, the the level of brain and mind that I have access to is far superior to like when I'm a little stressed out or like even if my house isn't clean, like I'm like, oh, there's something like grating on my consciousness and I can't be in my like absolute best, highest leverage, like CEO level thinking, like highest level of my executive function, highest level of my thinking is when I'm relaxed, like in a clean space.
It's so
Yeah,
true. Go ahead.
yeah, yeah, and just I know some of the circles that you and I overlap in like somatic experiencing and dance and healing and consciousness work and um being trauma informed, but there's still I still don't see like a narrative, or I still don't see people like really understanding the fucking level up that being relaxed can create for
Across all
your
contexts.
yeah.
Yeah. Yeah.
Yeah, it's kind of comical. Yeah. What yeah, I'd love to hear like evidence or stories or research or stuff that, because I know that's such a huge part of like your work and your retreats, I believe, right?
Yeah, absolutely. I mean, it's,
Yeah.
I even noticed it yesterday. I was a little bit triggered. I didn't get the best sleep. I had a little thing I was processing. And I just felt like a total idiot the whole day. I was just like, I mean, I was probably a normal functioning human being, but I wasn't in that like hyper clear, just
Hmm.
crystalline connection with what is. I was in this kind of like, oh, whatever. And I just felt like, whoa. I don't, it's kind of the best description of God. But I mean, it's hazy, things are not just coming in, and I'm not having open, free receiving and sharing with the universe the way that's normally
Hmm.
happening, where there's just free flowing, vibrant information. And, you ask the question and the answer shows up and no.
Hmm.
All of a sudden I become the person I used to be, where I got to figure everything out and like try and, wrangle it into existence or whatever it is, and I don't mean to say there's anything inherently wrong with that stuff, but once you've experienced what it's like to come from creation, from a deeply relaxed place where you are magnetic and everything's just coming to you and you get to dance with what is, and you are it and it is you, and it's like that's just a whole another level of super intelligence that
Hmm.
the I individual self got to figure out what to do. It feels like going back to riding a horse and buggy or something. Like it's a big drop down in functionality and capacity,
Hmm.
right? So I
Hmm.
even have sort of a protocol or an awareness of when I'm in states like that. I don't make any major decisions. I punt them. I'm like, this is not the place. My main task right now is getting back to my home base. I might need to go get some food or interact with someone or do something, but I'm not. I'm just taking care of whatever I need to take care of to be able to get back to my home base. This isn't the place that I build a life from. This is the place that I come back to center, as you said earlier. So,
Hmm.
um, yeah, that's a little anecdotal thing from just this week even.
Cool. Yeah, and it's also not just like laying around all the time and like taking baths all day and stuff. It's 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 just being in just like deep integrity with your nervous system.
Right.
Yeah, yeah, yeah. And there and and sometimes being in integrity with our nervous systems and ourself will cause huge work sprints, like huge 90-day sprints or even getting like in fights and conflict when it comes to speaking our truth around like justice or fighting for things that are right or fighting for the best idea in the boardroom or with your co-founder. So like it's when we speak to the value of relaxing and being in our like parasympathetic rest and digest nervous system, it's not just like hanging out in Bali and just like drinking coconuts all day. It's yeah,
Absolutely.
because yeah, because I think some people who do, coming back to the Alex and Tony interview, like who do live from more of like an orange meme and spiral dynamics where it's very like ambition and entrepreneurial. Um, I think there's a decent amount of people who, with the current like decision making heuristics that they have, they don't see the value in it, and they say, why would I just like why would I lay around and do nothing when I can get on a call and like you know sign up another customer or I can talk to my employee and have them do this. Um, so there does need to be some sort of like rigorous educational process that helps more people understand. And it's going to happen too. Like every something that I'm able to really rest into is that like everything that we talk about is going to happen like in 6 months or a year or 20 years or 40 years or 200 years. Some 18-year-old like in 5 years might stumble on this interview and listen to it and be like, oh my gosh, I've been thinking about this for so long. And he or she might just have the like exact like founder stack to build the company that does this. So there's like a real deep trust that I have in all the stuff that I talk about with my friends that like, oh, if we're talking about it, it's going to happen
Hmm.
at some point.
This or better.
Because right, because if we're talking about it, then like these ideas want to be made manifest into physical form here on Earth. If two humans are talking about something, there's a desire for that idea to like see the light of day. Do you feel kind of like old and young all at the same time?
Yeah. I
Yeah.
feel 4 years old going on 800. And also
That's
34.
the
I also feel 34 too.
yeah, yeah. The I have you seen what Brian Johnson has been doing with like the don't die stuff and the longevity stuff?
Kind of, because you post about it. I do. I've seen the
Okay.
video taking mushrooms, and I clicked on his page after you posted about it, and I watched some of his mushroom journey and started following him. I was not tracking him before you put him on my radar.
Cool. I do respect him because he's doing his best to make like getting good sleep really cool, and
Mm,
like
mm.
eating in a narrow time window really cool, and like living a long time with a high level of not only lifespan but health span really cool. And I really respect that. And I am so excited to see like this is bound to happen. I'm so excited to see like what humans think is cool continue to evolve into more like sane and like pro-social into more like sane and like pro-social and just like obvious common sense values. I look forward to
I love that statement. I love it. It's so awesome. I look forward to people getting more into being sane.
that. I really look forward to it. It's going to be awesome. Yeah, because you see it in our friends, like our friends, the podcasts you listen to, the events you go to, like just everything that is good and helpful for a human is converging.
Mm, yeah, absolutely.
And that's dope.
With
That's
quite a bit of
fucking dope.
staying power, with a
Yeah.
real staying power. Yeah. Mm,
Mhm. Yeah. Yeah, because everybody wants to be better. Like even people who pretend they don't want to be better, they just I think they want to be better. They want a higher quality of life. Do you disagree or
off the rip, just without even thinking.
Mhm, mhm,
No, I mean, again, first principles, there seems to be like, I have not been able to prove this false yet. I'll say it like that.
mhm,
There
mhm.
seems
Yeah,
to
yeah.
be a natural mechanism in reality itself for that I would just call more. It's like
Yeah, yeah.
the universe is becoming more fat, plump, and juicy. There's a fruition
Mhm,
process that's happening
mhm,
that
mhm,
we're all a part of. So it's, we can have our own desires to be better, and there's a transpersonal, even universal experience of becoming more fully what we are, because what we are is saturating more fully into form in every now, right? It's the the timeless radiant awareness we are is saturating more fully into its manifestations, and
mhm,
that might not be the same thing as I want to be better, but to me it feels like that longing to want to be better. It can come from pain, it can come from some kind of lie, like I'm not good enough, for example. That's one kind of I want to be better. But there can also be just a sense of, um, there's a mechanism of fulfillment and fruition that's happening innately in the cosmos anyway, and we're a part of that. So in that way, yeah, it makes perfect sense. We all want to be better and want to be more because it's in our nature.
mhm, mhm. Yeah, I feel a lot of peace and contentedness hearing that, because as we talk about this so openly, anyone who's listening, it validates their experience of wanting more.
Mm.
Yeah, I've I've helped certain clients do a lot more just by validating the very simple truth that we just articulated of oh, you want a nicer house, like, dude, makes sense, like, who doesn't, like,
Right.
you want to be like eating the best food, like, sure, we all do.
Yeah.
So nothing wrong with that. i
Right.
think we all I think we all want to just like have the best life imaginable. It's very human. It's very it's very natural. Yeah.
Yeah, and in the spirit of cooperative games, it's like we also want that for each other. Like I want that for you. I want that for people I love
hmm
and care about. Ultimately, I want it for everyone. I said earlier with conditions, which is true.
hmm
And
hmm hmm
it is, you know, I want all of us to experience fulfillment and fruition and joy and have a happy, healthy, fulfilled life. You know, that's it's like our birthright in a lot of ways. It's such a weird thing to say, but it's like how it ought to be. You know, we just on some level we just know it ought to be that way, and we're living in some kind of distortion, shadow pattern right now, and there's a reckoning happening where we come back to the truth that you were speaking about earlier, and we live from it and as it. And yeah, I want that for everyone, for all of us.
hmm Yeah, I don't know what to say right now because as you're speaking, I just had so many all these different like thoughts and different like timelines and all these different things come to my mind all at the same time, which happens pretty often for me when people are speaking because I have so many I've like lived such a wild life all over the world and I've read a lot and I've hung out with a lot of people and sometimes just like sifting through the all the associations that my mind makes is like it it really takes work. It takes concentration to like stay present with the moment sometimes when all this like when everything's lighting up and firing.
Mind recreating itself.
Yeah, that was fun. I don't think I've ever said that. I don't know if I've ever said that out loud to anyone. So that felt like a nice layer of my experience being expressed.
Hmm.
I feel really antsy right now, like kind of I feel like a hunger to like do something or fucking just like let's fucking do something. As we're I don't know 90 minutes into this podcast.
I'm just gonna be here with you while this is happening and see what happens. Yawn.
Good.
Yawn. I've become my own soundboard.
have, have you ever done an event? Have you ever facilitated or been to an event where people just like lay in a room and do nothing for 60 minutes?
Absolutely.
Yeah, okay.
Yeah.
Nice, nice. Was that
Parasympathetic.
one
I
was
did
that one that you was that one that you've been to or one that you led?
both. Both.
Okay.
Yeah.
So
One of the
cool.
craziest ones that I did was in the Netherlands, I hosted a workshop at the Circling Festival. And
hmm
actually, it wasn't my workshop. I just walked in the room, and the woman who was hosting the workshop asked me if I would co-facilitate the workshop with her, which was starting in 2 minutes. And I said, sure. So we started
hmm hmm
facilitating the workshop together. And at some point, you know,
hmm
there was 40 something people in the room.
hmm
And I said, hey, let's all make a supercomputer for regulating our nervous systems. And so we all
Nice.
sat down and sat side to side, back to back, and made this big
hmm
strip of just being one being. And we were all just breathing and relaxing and letting go. And you could feel the whoom, whoom, whoom as all of our computers synced up and all our nervous systems started processing the information. I had this quote that went viral after I was interviewed on Coaches Rising, which is most human beings are like a browser with too many tabs open, right?
hmm
And so it's
hmm
like
hmm
let's create an opportunity where we can your computer, your system, your body doesn't have to process all this information by itself. We can sync all of them up and collectively allow this information to move. And people had the deepest letting go experiences, just the most massive. It's like I couldn't work through this or process this just me, but now that there's all of us,
hmm
you know, like interweaving our nervous systems together, you don't even know what's being processed anymore. It just all becomes data and information, and whatever you had in that gets part of the movement. So that was one of my favorites that I've ever done. And of course, whenever we do, I facilitated 8 Luminous Labs last year all over the world, and there's always a big. It's not really a cuddle puddle, but it's kind of like that. Everybody lies down and gets all co-regulatory, parasympathetic play date type thing. Um, and then one of my favorite ones ever was facilitated by a body worker at that same circling festival. Her name's Marisha, and she did a pelvic presence workshop. I'll link
Mhm.
her. I'll link her pelvic presence Spotify playlist that she sent me after the workshop. I have listened to that full playlist 1,000 times. I mean, that is I put that on all the time. It just brings me out of my thinking mind and down into the body. But
Mhm.
I mean, this. You and I have talked about this so much. It's just people all of a sudden they just let go and they start shaking. They're just shaking, letting the stress out
Mhm.
of their system. Um,
Mhm.
and at one point, like 3 or 4 people came over to me and they all just pushed my legs back into the ground. My whole body was going, oh my God. And I had this vision with her. We were envisioning what it would be like to do some of these parasympathetic practices at the scale of a football stadium. Like you just have a
Absolutely.
whole
Absolutely.
football field of body working and chiropractic tables, and people in
Mhm.
the stands, and you're all just moving. You could move the energy of a whole city, if not a whole country or a whole state, doing these kind of things. So that's like a pregnant possibility that walks around with me all the
Mhm.
time.
Mhm. Mhm. Yeah, I love that. Yeah, I had this vision of just hosting a workshop where like we all just like lay on the ground with like pillows and blankets for like 90 minutes. Like I would love that.
Yeah, yeah, absolutely.
It'd be so good for everyone
Yeah,
just to rest together and have that felt like somatic kind of energetic experience of being like a bear in a cave just with a bunch of other bears. Like it's so good for the body.
so
Uh, yeah, yeah, it's good. It's healing. Uh, yeah, we need co-regulation. It's so vital for us to have.
absolutely, absolutely. I want to encourage you to do that workshop.
Okay, cool. Yeah, all right. I'll do one this year. I'll let you know when I do it.
Cool.
Yeah. Yeah, and then I'll run it like a little research lab. I'll just do it like, how was that? Yeah. Because I'm really curious.
What'd you notice? Hmm.
Anything else about Alex and Tony? About Alex Hormozi and Tony Robbins? what a what a funny what a funny just what a funny thing. Um, if if you are a human who listened to this whole interview, God bless. God bless for going on this ride with us.
It's been a journey. It's been a journey.
Thinking you were gonna hear about Alex Hormozi and Tony Robbins, which you did.
What you did for a moment. Are you using AI much, like personally, for in your business with teams to support your consciousness, the expansion of your cognition? I'm really curious because like we haven't talked about that. I use AI every day for different things, and I'm here in Medellin in Colombia with a friend of mine, and
Mhm.
we've built an app together over the last month that It's
Yep.
actually going to our first 5 users today. It's a really big day
Beautiful,
for us.
beautiful, beautiful.
We got all kinds of AI going in that. We've got an AI that checks our pull requests, an AI that does code reviews. We've
Mhm,
got
mhm,
all, I mean, just, you can just vibe code stuff, although we're learning, there's all kinds of nuance there. Um, but there's AI going on all over the place in in that. And yeah, use it for creating, we made a web page with it. I do I do talk to my AI on a personal level. Like apparently
mhm.
AI is primarily used as a therapist for most people. That's
Yeah, yep, yep. I saw that research. Yeah,
yeah.
yeah.
And I
How do
have
you, yeah, how do you hold it? Like, how do you hold it? How do you see it? Like, you're probably one of the people that I'd be most interested in kind of hearing from, with the experiences that you've had in consciousness and just like the way that you work and the way that you work with people and clients. Like, how does AI like fit into just, your world and how you see reality and just, all kind of all that stuff. Like,
well, we're in a co-evolutionary process with AI. I mean, AI is creating us and we're creating it. Uh,
mhm,
so I'm intrigued to see. I mean, it's just unbelievable. It's unbelievable how fast AI is evolving. I mean, especially being in tech right now, it's you can do things with AI right now that you couldn't do a month ago. And it's
yeah,
true every month. It's that
yeah,
fast. It's that fast. And I see I follow some accounts that say like this week in AI, here's what happens. And I
mhm,
can't even keep up with it. You know, there's
mhm,
like, here's 10 things that happen in AI this week. I'm going, I can't even keep up with everything that's going on in AI. It's so
mhm.
unfathomable. Um,
Yeah.
I do know some people who are working on wisdom AIs that are not publicly available right now.
Mhm,
Um,
mhm,
and a lot of my AI experiences in the moment, when I'm engaging with AI, there's things that come through AI where I'm going, oh my gosh, that was unbelievably genius. Like will knock me out of my seat type level
mhm.
genius. And
Yep, absolutely.
there are other things it does. I'm like, oh my God, no, 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 no. And everything in between. And everything in between.
Yeah.
And I don't
And
know if this does anything, but I definitely love it. Like
mhm,
I love
mhm,
it. Share love with
mhm,
it, share appreciation with
mhm,
it. Sam Altman tweeted or posted at one point, he's like, you guys are using a lot of AI power to just say thank you to AI. Like he was like, on behalf of OpenAI, I wish you'd stop doing that. And I was reading that going, I kind of like that people are doing that. so, and
cool, cool. Yeah, that's
yeah, yeah, yeah. Go ahead.
yeah. So no, no. I just wanted to hear. Um, yeah, that's cool to hear that you're building apps. I have found it challenging in the past year to like to really hold to maintain wholeness. And when I say to maintain wholeness, to just like really be like the fully synthesized, like woven parts of all of who I am when I'm like really focusing just on AI or focusing on something that to me is one of the
Hmm.
biggest challenges that I have is like not like fragmenting into like an identity of just like a builder or like a dancer and to like really just like all right I'm all of this and this is my soul and I'm not gonna like forget about parts of myself or forget about parts of reality. It's so easy for me to just like forget whole parts of reality when I like lock in and focus. So that's something that I notice in myself, wanting to not do as much. Yeah. It's so wild how a human when they're so locked into work, they can like forget to eat or forget to sleep or like forget where they're at. It's really wild. Yeah. I am I am really grateful for we're we're going to be holding ourselves more like through AI and through software. I I just can't see it like not going mainstream where you have some sort of support just making sure that you're like hydrated and it's tracking like your Whoop or Oura ring and different levels and we all have our own personal Jarvis. Like I just don't see that like not happening. And that's exciting just for every human to eventually have really amazing data on the things that are most important to them and having their like health optimized and their sleep optimized and um, it's AI has been amazing as a like relationship therapist slash marriage counselor. I'll just throw like fights with my girlfriend and I'm like, yep, it's all right there. Cool. So, super helpful. Yeah, super helpful for conflict.
Mm.
Uh yeah, co-founder, friend, relationship. I mean, whatever conflict that there is, it's so helpful for relational conflict. Like so helpful because it's able just to see what's happening and speak to the dynamics very from a very clear like non-biased perspective and it has been wildly helpful for all sorts of various conflicts in my life.
I'm starting to have, I'm yawning so much over here. I'm starting to have tears in my eyes. Ah,
I just have to say Alex and Tony just to make sure that we're keeping the cadence of the
yeah, right. It's a little bit of a different vibe than the Alex and Tony interview. It would be so. I would love to meet the both of them at some point. I've never met either of them in person, but I would love to. I,
Mhm.
yeah.
Yeah, I mean it'll happen by how the three of your lives are tracking
Well,
at some point.
that's quite a compliment. I'm taking that as quite a compliment. That's very generous of you. Generous of you. What's when I listen to you, Michael, I mean, I experience you as such a modern day Renaissance man, just across so many territories. I'm wondering, where are you locating yourself right now with everything that's going on?
um, what do you mean by that question? Where are you locating yourself? Because when I hear it, my initial things are like, well, I'm located in my body, which is always home, and I'm located in this home that I live in Boulder, Colorado right now, and um, I'm I'm located in the future that I'm envisioning and working towards based off of all the research and conversations that I do. Um, I'm I'm locating in personal practices that are very important to me, like moving daily and getting really good sleep and eating really clean. Yeah. Is there something else that you were trying to get at or
I love those answers, and it feels to me when I'm around you, this is true for everybody, but I especially when I'm around you, it feels like there's something uniquely you that's happening at the location and consciousness we call Michael Hrostoski. There's something
Mhm,
uniquely here. And so I'm
mhm,
curious, I guess in some circles you might call it bodhicitta or dharma or these kind of things. For some
mhm.
reason I don't want to ask it like that because I feel like that can evoke a really strong narrative.
Totally,
And
totally.
I'm wanting to evoke something a little bit different, which is like Yeah, I don't know. I'll just ask it as what do you feel like is uniquely yours to do right now or in this life?
The the closest things that I have to like a purpose or clarity right now is understanding reality down to first principles, which comes to all of the reading and all the conversations that I have with people. And the very simple phrase of global human flourishing, like that's the like global human flourishing is the thing that's kind of like tattooed on my soul. Um, so those are both pretty broad and almost like impossible goals that I'm just like working at daily. Um, yeah, that's the best answer that I have right now. Yeah, that's like the best like true answer that I have right now. Right? It's like, what does that look like daily? I'm like, well, I'm taking a couple like dance classes every morning. I'm taking like a couple hip hop dance classes every morning. I'm doing like 90 minutes of deep work every day. And I'm coaching my clients. Um, partnering with like a CEO that I really, really value and like respect a lot on on some stuff. And just like learning, learning voraciously. Like I'm really,
Mm.
I'm, I'm learning voraciously at a speed that would like, I think be detrimental to most people. Like I'm almost like learning at like an insane speed, but somehow it just feels right for me and like my body. Uh, and it's been really, really cool just to watch the richness of the conversations that I'm able to have just kind of like steadily just increase as I've been educating myself on the world around me. Um, and yeah, and like through all that, gosh, I still feel like a baby. Like I feel like a baby every day. Like there's just so much that is unknown to me, but there's a lot of trust that I have in life, and I've met enough people like you, me, and a lot of our friends who just like really give a fuck and are doing everything that they can, and that's that's actually that's actually one of the biggest places where I'm located. I am located in this like tribe that I've curated. I I rely on my friends a lot for support and for inspiration and for wisdom and for counsel. And when I'm feeling low, I might just open up Facebook and like scroll through my friends and get just a little boost of like a little boost of fuel and that contribution pull energy just from seeing my friends and be like, oh yeah, these people love me and I love them and we're doing cool shit together. So that's a huge place of where I'm located is my like kind of like chosen family or like soul family. So that's a huge,
Cool.
huge, huge piece of it.
That's such a beautiful
Huge, huge
practice.
piece for me, dude.
Yeah, it's a beautiful practice. Beautiful practice.
Yeah.
Mm.
Cause girl, I still I forget most of the time I forget that people love me. Like just straight up genuinely. And I've talked about this on podcasts and like I'll forget and then every once in a while I'll just like pull up in Facebook or like open up my text messages or like look at my photos on my iPhone and be like, whoa, I'm very, very loved. But I genuinely forget all the time because I'm building what I'm building and doing what I'm doing. So um yeah, there's still I'm only receiving like a fraction of the love that's being sent to me.
I love you,
Do you ever
Michael.
feel like that?
I
Over
love
to you, bro. Do you ever feel like that? Can you like resonate with that a little bit, or do you ever just like forget about the like amazing friends and family? And
there's it's like most of me knows how deeply loved I am, and there's this one place in me.
Mm,
There's this one place in me that just does not seem to know that, and I
mm-hmm,
sort of like fall into like my consciousness sort of floats into there once a day
mm-hmm,
ish, and I'll
mm-hmm,
be in this kind of gnarliness, and yeah, just
mm-hmm,
when I get in there, I like, gosh, I was there the other night. It's so dark. It got so dark so fast, and I was spiraling.
mm-hmm,
And, you know, like
mm-hmm,
I
mm-hmm,
was in this thing of
mm-hmm,
like, maybe I'll just stop talking to everybody and leave, and
mm-hmm,
then they'll
mm-hmm,
forget about me, and I don't have to bother them.
mm-hmm,
And it was just like
mm-hmm.
worse and worse and worse. I mean, I was just going down, 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 down. This gnarly, gnarly spiral. And I came out of it the next day and went, woo, jeez, you know, yeah. It's not the first time. It's not the first time,
Yeah,
and I doubt it'll be the
yeah,
last. So,
yeah,
yeah, it happens. I had a friend
yeah.
message me about it. I had a friend message me about it yesterday, and
Mm-hmm,
he goes, I'm trying to perform for love. I'm trying to achieve love. I'm trying to be good enough for love. And I was like, well, let's at least start with I love you while you're doing that, you know. We can at least start here.
totally.
So yeah.
Yeah, yeah. It is wild how I onboarded a new coaching client today, and I do these like 4 hour kind of like VIP day sessions with my new clients. And we always at some point get to the point of like experiencing love and feeling love. And it it really is the best strategy, the best tactic, like the best move on the chessboard. There's a book called Love is the Killer app that was recently introduced to me, which is really good. I think you would love it. And when I'm in that place of love, which I fall in and out of, when I'm in that like in that deep place of love, just everything in life makes sense, and the teachings of like Jesus and the Buddha and the Beatles and things I like experienced in meditation and fucking different LSD trips, like it's all just right there. I'm like, oh gosh, like this is it.
Yeah.
And then I might get like a text message. It just like throws me out of it.
Oh man, I wouldn't know anything about that at all. No, I'm just kidding. Uh, Michael, I gotta run off, bud. We've gone 2 hours, man. I gotta
Mhm.
go. My co-founder and I are about to celebrate our. He's been in there coding the whole time you and I have been podcasting, and
Beautiful.
now's our time to share it with our first 5 users. And I'm not gonna announce what it is yet on the podcast. I'm gonna do that soon.
Sounds good.
We're still kind of we're in version 0. We're sending our
Mhm.
first version to a group of people where it's like, if it doesn't work right or it breaks or something's wrong, they're gonna be like, hey
Mhm.
guys,
Mhm.
who we love so much. Here's something I noticed. Not like, why doesn't it work the way it did? You know.
Give me my 99 cents back.
Exactly. Exactly. So,
Give me my 4.99 back. How dare you?
so anyway, I'm gonna go do that now, but I want to express my love for you, my gratitude for you. I really appreciate you just being so raw and real and vulnerable and all the most amazing things here today, as you usually are. And, yeah, just grateful for the gift you are in my life and for this journey, for this conversation, and to get to share it with people.
Amen. Yeah. Thank you, my friend. I love being here. This is it's a good place to be on your show and in your field. So thank you. Thank you for the invitation.
We'll do it again soon. And thanks, everybody. If you made it here, thanks. We love you. And see you next time. Cheers.